Hi, everyone. This is Shannon. Welcome back. This is part two of the question and answer video series that I entitled No Immediate Evidence. I did it in two parts because the question was long and I put the whole question in there for context. And then I wanted to spend as much time as I could trying to answer it. I'm limited on characters on Instagram. So that requires me to be concise in what I write. I'll sum up the question to remind you this way. The person was talking about doing something that where there's immediate feedback, right, to give comfort. Like I can, if I have a fear of harming somebody with my car, I can go out and drive my car, and nothing happened. So I have immediate feedback that nothing happened, and that gives me comfort. Versus something like asbestos contamination, where I'm afraid that whatever I do or don't do is going to cause somebody harm, and I won't know whether it did, whether everything is okay for decades, maybe ever, right? And that part was giving the person who asked the question the most trouble. So I will say that this is an experience that a lot of OCD sufferers have, right? It's a problem that they deal with. You can, in that vein, I could say, just like the person who asked the question who identified OCD symptoms, saying typical OCD here, this is typical OCD here too, right? You can imagine OCD, a very sinister character, twisting its mustache, uh, laughing at you, saying, yeah, you could get immediate feedback by driving your car and overcome that fear. But this asbestos thing, this is different because you're not going to know for decades, or you may never know whether everything is okay. So you're always going to have to fear asbestos and that whether or not you've harmed somebody. What to do? What I can say here is first, I think we need to review some principles. In order to get to a place where OCD doesn't adversely affect you, you have to deprive the disorder of what it craves each time, every time. Secondly, you're never going to satisfy the disorder, ever, by giving into a compulsion. You're only feeding the disorder, you're making it stronger, and we know it's coming back. Nothing will ever be good enough. Not even the comfort that you feel because you think, I drove my car and nothing happened. OCD is going to give you some doubt because if your goal was to get comfort by driving your car, OCD will mess with you on that. Third, it's important to understand that doubt, uncertainty, and anxiety will always be there in the moment. Paradoxically, we make uncertainty and anxiety diminish by not trying to get immediate relief from anxiety or immediate certainty in the moment, right? We get ultimate relief by not chasing that relief in the moment. Now let's talk about perspective. There is no difference between a, an OCD thought where you might get immediate feedback and immediate comfort by performing a compulsion. That is by just checking to make sure nothing happened in the moment. And the other OCD type thought, like asbestos, or really I could give you 1,000 different examples of where we won't know for decades, if we ever know, right? Could be forever that we don't know. There's no difference between those thoughts because OCD is the root. We don't have to accept OCD's argument that they are different, therefore you need to treat them differently. We treat them all the same, them being OCD thoughts. We treat them all the same. So, the same way that achieving immediate relief from anxiety and getting immediate certainty are not your objective, neither is getting immediate evidence that nothing happened when you faced your fear, right? We don't need that immediate evidence. We don't need the evidence ever. The idea is to face doubt and uncertainty, excuse me, doubt and anxiety, and move forward while doubt and anxiety are there. You take all of it away from OCD. There is no differentiating thoughts, right? In my recovery strategy, I gave those thoughts no value. Each thought, they had zero value. If one thought has zero value, they all do because the root is OCD. When you perform an exposure, let's say like driving your car, again, the goal is not to get immediate comfort by trying to realize whether something happened. The goal is to perform the exposure despite your doubt and anxiety. That will give you confidence in doing it the next time and the next time and the next time. I can do these exposures. I don't have to cave to doubt and anxiety. This will sound like reassurance, but it really is more assurance about the process. What I learned, and I suffered really badly over 30 years ago when I developed my strategy, and it took me a while. But none of the threats and the consequences that OCD ever threatened me with have ever happened. Somebody might rise up right now and say, well, yeah, but they still could. And I say, I don't care. I'm treating this as an OCD thought. I don't need to know. How about that? I don't need to know. And then I'll go back to what my doctor said. If something actually requires your attention and is a problem, you will know it instinctively. And then you will act appropriately. And so I adopted that as a bright line threshold rule for myself. If something caught my attention, and then I started to debate whether it was a problem, it wasn't an actual problem that required my attention. Yeah, I still had doubt, I still had anxiety, but I had to have a bright line rule to follow. So if there was any debate, it was going into the OCD bucket. If there was any debate, that meant I didn't know it instinctively. I had to follow that rule. Everything worked out. I finally got to a place where OCD didn't adversely affect me. And then I got way better than that. How about that? I got way better than that. OCD doesn't affect my life anymore. Do I say I'm cured? No. What I say is I don't care if it comes back. I'll do the very same thing that I did before that made me well. I deprived the disorder of what it craved, no matter how much doubt and no matter how much anxiety. I called it the risk of getting better. It's way worth it. All right. I hope this is helpful. Bye.